Good morning, madam.
Okay, I hope that every one of you is doing well today. I'm sorry that I've started the class a bit late. It's almost 8:50, 8:51. Okay, everyone. So for today, this week is week 11, all right? And there are certain things that I need to highlight regarding our course assessment. There will be another 2 assessment left for the class, which is a self-reflective essay and what you are working right now with your movie scenes analysis. And last on week 14 is our quiz 2. All right. So today I will explain about this as you can see on the screen. This is regarding the self-reflective essay for 5%. Okay, it's a simple question, simple instruction, but of course it needs you to write a critical essay or critical writing regarding the given question relate to our course discussion. All right, so look at the instructions given. Using the guided questions given, write your self-reflective essay in about 500 words. Before that, everyone, if my voice is not clear, please let me know, all right? Okay, there are 3 questions that you need to respond regarding this essay, meaning to say that, make sure that you have these 3 elements highlighted in your essay. Okay, the first one, the first question, what did you actually achieve while attending this course? So it depends on your response. It depends on your understanding of the course. So uh, each answer from different person would have different way of describing this. So it depends on how you respond to the question. No limitation or no what we call um, a limitation in terms of how can you respond to the question, all right? It depend on you, okay? So be open. Anything that you gain from the course, you can explain. But this one is not teaching assessment, yeah? This one is not teaching assessment. This is about self-reflective essay for the course. But maybe for some people, when they are referring to the first question, what come across their mind is regarding teaching assessment list of question, but this one is not, yeah, relate to our course in terms of the assessment in our class, in terms of the maybe what other topic has been discussed in the class and so on. Look at question number 2. Which were the most difficult parts of the course and why were they difficult for you? So you can relate to the list of the topics maybe or to the assessment maybe. All right. So depend. All right. Depend on you. And number 3, which were the easiest parts of the course and why did you find this easy for you? So the question is quite general, right? Very general question, but depend on your understanding, depend on your response to the um, issue highlighted in the question. And as the name of the task is self-reflective essay, then you write this in the form of essay. All right, meaning to say that you can make it in terms of 3 paragraphs. This is only my suggestion. All right, still depend on the way you write your essay. Maybe you want to start with the introduction paragraph and then followed by the body of the essay by relating to these 3 main ideas, and then you have conclusion. Or maybe for some people, they just want to have 3 paragraph, which means that each paragraph relate to the questioned here. So depend, right? That's why at the first place just now, I said that no specific guideline to respond to this question for this reflective AC. All right, it's just that for this general format, right? So we need to standardize this. So we just want to make sure that every one of us, every one of you, write the AC by referring to or by using the font of Arial, font size 12, spacing 1.5. While the content, yeah, content of the AC or the formats of the content, it depends on each one of you, the way you respond to the question. But this one is general one, just follow this one, general format. And make sure that you write within 500 words. Okay, you are given 1 week to do this, everyone. As you can check on the online learning, okay, you check the due date of submissions, yeah, which is by 9 of January, all right? For this time, everyone, I'm begging you, please make sure that you submit via online learning. Any submission without or by not referring to online learning, it will not be given marks for that. Because we find that lots of group or some individual relating to the assessment submit by not according to the platform given or platform that has been prepared for the submission. So for sometimes it gives some trouble because we have lots of groups, yeah, and also lots of individual submission of the task. So as we have standardized that to submit via online learning, so please everyone, at least what you can do is in terms of helping me out with this kind of issues of, you know, like grouping or uh, um, accepting or receiving your assessment. Hopefully, please submit via the platform given, all right, via online learning. Please, yeah, submit via online learning, not via email, not via WhatsApp. Okay. Any questions about the self-reflective AC for 5%? Any question, maybe? Okay, maybe so for this one I think no problem, yeah. So you're given 1 week, everyone. 1 week to respond to this question for the self-reflective AC 5% task. And this is individual assessment, yeah. This is individual submission, and please submit via online learning. Okay, so let's look another assessment. This assessment I've explained to you last class, and there are few groups already text me, propose to me the scenes that they are going to use for the analysis. It's just that I'm going through this in terms of the format or the templates of the task. Yeah? So for movie scenes analysis, this is the instruction. As you can see on the online learning, as well as in your course outline. Okay, for the template, yeah, look at this one for the template. Okay, can everyone see this? Just now it's a bit small for the view, yeah? Okay. So for the template of movie scenes analysis, for the first page, yeah, after the list name, after the list of the group members' name, next page, yeah, you need to write the synopsis of the scenes. All right. When you choose the scene for the analysis, discuss with your group members what happened in the scenes. I mean, in overall part of the scenes, yeah, not the movie, not the synopsis of the movie. Some people they misunderstand this. Now we are talking about the scenes, so only write the synopsis of the scenes specifically, not the whole movie, the synopsis of the movie itself. Okay, and then number two, analysis of the movie according to the dimensions, environmental and personal dimension. Environmental and personal analysis should include explanation, example, and timestamp from the scenes. This is example. If you refer to the slide that I've shared with you according to chapter 6, nonverbal communication, we have two kind of dimension. Environmental dimensions and another type of dimension is, anyone, have you checked the slide? Okay, everyone, what are the dimensions? Amir Ashraf, paralanguage. Paralanguage is the list of or the types of under the dimension. We have paralanguage, kinesics, and so on. But now we talk about the two major dimension, environmental and
Personal.
okay. We have the word here, right? Environmental and personal dimension. First of all, make sure that you've been clear what is environmental dimension and personal dimension. So your analysis should include explanation, example, and timestamp from the scenes. For example, Now you talk about the environmental dimension by focusing on the objects and artifacts. And you have to explain first, what is object and artifacts under the type of environmental dimension. After that, the time stamp of the scenes, meaning to say that okay, after that, write or highlight the timestamp of the scenes. The scenes taken from 2.11 to 2.33. On the minute of 2.33 shows that this is a formal discussion. The name tags, paper, pens, and files on the table are necessary for a formal meeting or the discussion. This one is relating to the scene that has been described according to this sample, right? And then you look on another what we call the dimension. Just now environmental, now it's about personal dimension. So personal dimension, how many type of personal dimensions, everyone? So one of that is the kinesics. So you explain what is kinesics, and then you mention that the scenes taken at 5 to 5.6 shows that the individual known as Sean is not interested in the discussion. His slouching posture indicates his interest level in the discussion. Okay, things that you need to consider when you explain each of the dimension. When you are explaining a dimension, give reason why you think they use such tools or place, position, expression, intonation, or etc. in that particular scenes. Meaning to say that when you highlight this element in terms of explanation, the example and the timestamp of the scenes, then explain the significance or why the person deal or respond in the session according to that behavior or attitude. This one. Give reason why you think they use such tools, place, position, expression, intonation, and etc. Meaning to say that everything in terms of non-verbal communications of the character you need to analyze. It's like telling the reason behind such behavior. For example, the main character raised his voice in the scenes because he was angry, and when the group members did not pay attention to him. So this is some kind of explanation or the significance why the person respond with that kind of emotion, behavior, or attitude. So by referring to this explanation, you need to relate why he becomes or why he respond in that way. Earlier in the first meeting, the leader insisted on following his idea despite the members' rejection. Eventually, it, it backfired the group. So this time, when the leader proposed an idea, the group wasn't interested in it at all, which injured the leader. Without this proper why or the explanations of the reason why he or she respond with that or such kind of behavior, it is a surface level of analysis and may not contribute much to your works, right? So every single thing's explained, especially the way the person react to the situation. So I'm making the PDF form, yeah. I hope that everyone can see this. Just now maybe because of the color as well as the font, maybe it's not too clear with everyone. Hopefully this help you. Okay. Okay, this is another example, everyone. When you discuss in terms of paralanguage, paralanguage is under what type of dimension? Is that environmental or personal? Anyone? Amir Ashraf highlighted the word paralanguage just now. This one is under personal or environment,
Personal.
right? Personal dimension. Oh, I think Amir also highlight there in the chat box. It's a personal dimension. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. I'm wondering, have you go through the slide that I've shared with you last time, according to chapter 6? Okay, so for another example, in terms of paralanguage, at the minutes of 1.108 until 112, it shows that Dival said certain word. I'm not referring to the scene, so I'm not sure the emotion or what the intonation it is. Yeah? Devil said shoo to a black cat near his leg under the table. This is because the cat clawed at Devil's leg and it irritated him. So he tried to get the cat away from him because the cat can sense that he is a bird. This is a cat's nature to attract the birds. This might be come from a cartoon scene, yeah? This one. And another scenes taken from 306 to 310 shows that empty pause moment in the whole room. The quietness indicates uncertainty to the speech given by Barbosa. Everyone was quite quiet because they doubted Barbosa's idea, which is to release Calypso in order to win the battle against their enemy. They keep quiet because they seem unable to accept the idea. This is because the earlier in the past, the nine pirate lord has sent Calypso into a trap out of fear. After listening to Barbossa's idea to release Calypso and expect her to help them, it seems insane for her to do so and might cause chaos if she tries to get her revenge towards them. So everyone, to be honest, I am not sure what movie is this, right? What is the title? But most important thing is just want to highlight that how you respond to the element discussed in your movie scenes analysis. Um, Meaning to say that make sure that you have this element. Now PDF I cannot enlarge this. You actually you can check this document. I also share with you at online learning, right? So make sure that you have highlighted explanations of the scenes, example of the scenes according to the time stamp of the scenes, and then explain and why this kind of scenes happen, or how the scenes emerge according to the characters' behavior, attitude previously, for example. And when you explain the each of the dimension, highlight in terms of paralanguage, in terms of, just now we have kinesics. You can check this from your online learning, yeah? Kinesics, paralanguage, and then under the environmental dimension, we have object and artifacts. So that's how you respond to the task. You highlight, all right? Make a division between uh, personal dimension, environmental dimensions, right? So don't mix together, but you need to highlight. This is under the paralanguage. This is under the kinesics and so on. This is the evaluation form, everyone. As usual, of course, we have evaluation form for each of the assessment, but I'm not going to highlight this today. Maybe um, a weeks before the presentation, inshallah, I will explain to you about this one. Okay, so certain tips or certain things that you need to consider. First, discuss with your group members about the scenes you wish to choose. So for some of you, maybe you're still discussing what kind of scenes you're going to use for the task. So make sure that you involve, every group members are involved in the discussion, right? So decide what is the scene that you're going to use for the analysis according to everyone's um, agreement, right? And most important things, no offensive language in the scenes, because this is for class discussion. I hope that please consider, make it, like avoid certain things like no offensive language in the scenes, no brutal kind of scenes. How to say, yeah? No, like any example? How to say, not fighting scenes, something like that, right? But most important thing is by referring to the concept of small group communication that should appear in the scenes. Maybe you can list out certain scenes that you can consider. After that, discuss and finalize only one scenes and share the video in our class main group. This one later, before the presentation, basically, I will ask you to share the scenes in our WhatsApp group so that every people can watch the scenes. And when they come or turn up for your discussion, they know what are the scenes that you are discussing about according to your analysis. So we just want to make sure that everyone watch the scene, because apart from the class assessment, this is also part of our class discussion. Hopefully from the task, everyone learned not just their scenes to be analyzed, but other analysis according to their chosen scenes. Prepare slide for the presentation, right? Yes, you can prepare slide for the presentation. Start your presentation by playing the video, but it depends on the time. Basically, if you already share in our WhatsApp group the scenes, basically I'm not going to ask you to share or play the video before the presentation, right? We assume that everyone watched the video or the scenes. So you just start with your presentation of the analysis. Okay. Then give minimum 1 and maximum 3 example for every non-verbal aspect. Alright, I don't want to confuse you with this sentence, but go back to the two types of dimension, both personal and environmental dimension. You check what are the types under each of the dimension. So when you deal with your analysis, make sure that you fulfill or you highlight each of the types. After this, we go to the slide, all right? We go to the slide of chapter 6. So I will highlight that. Hopefully you can see clearly. Use GIF for every example in your slide. Briefly explain what happens in the scenes and why. This is what we have discussed just now, the content of the analysis. So let's look at our slide for chapter 6. Yeah? Okay, everyone, as you can see on the screen, okay, this is what we mean just now, as we have two type of dimension, environmental dimensions and personal dimension. Right. So for environmental dimension, we have three type of dimension. The first is space and territory. Second is artifacts and objects. And the third one is time. All right. So first of all, make sure that you understand what is environmental dimension. Basically, this is in terms of element that happen surround or relate to the person or the character in terms of his or her surrounding part. Space and territory. Personal space which relates to proximity and distance between people. Artifacts and objects, physical environment, and the objects that are within that environment. And then time. What happened? What kind of situation relating to that time of the discussion? So make sure that in your analysis, you have this element related to the scene that you choose, right? Maybe there will be some possibility that the scene that you choose will not highlighted a certain of this element, right? Then it will be happen on that way. So no problem. As long as at least you highlight maybe out of these three, only two that you can find from the video, but explain critically or explain in detail, right? Explain in detail. Maybe you only, but basically everyone, you can find these three actually. But maybe if you just you want to focus only two, let's say, in terms of space and territory and time. So no problem, but you have to discuss that critically, right? Critically and in detail of explanation. So that is in terms of environmental dimension. Okay, so that is for the environmental dimension. And another one is personal dimension. For personal dimension, we also have three type of dimension, which is paralanguage, as what our friend give the example just now, kinesics, gaze. Alright, so paralanguage, speaking traits that includes volume of voice, rate and pitch, or intonations of the voice used by the character. Kinesics, in terms of the body movement, including the facial expression or the gaze. And this one is only example for you. This is only example, right? Number 4 and 5. Um, the first one is the website, as you can see. Some explanation. Character or the episode. But this one is not moving. This one is, and then make sure that you have the element for each part of the dimension, as well as the why that kind of action happened, and which, to be specific, which part of the scenes you discuss that situation. But any question, maybe? Any questions? So far clear with the explanation? In case you want to ask anything, sure. Well, I leave the environmental dimension. Mama Alif? Mama Alif, can you hear me? Everyone, can you hear me right now? Is that clear? How about now? Is that okay?
Clear, madam. Now okay.
Okay, thank you. Mama Alif, can you hear me? Eric, what you understand with space under the type of environmental dimension?
Sorry, madam, I
Eric
cannot hear
Chu
you
Chen Yang.
clearly.
Now, how about now?
Now okay.
So what you understand with space and territory?
Mm, space, territory. I think it's like when you speak with the person, then when in the speak with the person like in the room like that, when how to say the atmosphere around there. Not sure about it.
Okay. So Mama Alif, thank you, Eric.
Thank
Mama
you, madam.
Alif, what you understand with space and territory?
Yes, madam. Hello.
Okay, Nur Aisha, what you understand with space and territory under the type of environmental dimensions? Aisha, can you hear me?
Madam. Hello, madam.
Aisha, can you hear me?
Madam.
Salsabila Farah.
Yes, doctor.
Salsabila Farah. What you understand with space and territory?
What I understand is like the room for the person who engage in the communication. It's like the personal space.
Vishnu. What you understand with artifacts and objects under the type of environmental dimension? Vishnu. Okay, everyone, how about now? Is that clear, my voice?
Yes, madam, clear enough.
Yes, madam, clear.
Thank you for the response. Vishnu. Amir Ashraf.
Yes, madam.
Okay, so Amir, what you understand with artifacts and objects under the environmental dimension?
Artifact and object is about how we perceive how, like for example, like if there are a boss meeting, there will be like a formal discussions. For example, like there will be a pen, a glasses, and a draft board that the employee need to write it down, like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Amir Ashraf.
Okay.
Divagar. Who is Divagar? 273161. Hello. I'm calling certain names for several times, yeah. Who is Divagar 273161? Hasif, what you understand with time under the environmental dimension? If my voice is not clear, I hope that any one of you can help me to tell me about this, yeah? Hasif, sorry, just now I'm calling the name of whose name that I called just now?
Madam call Hasif.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Hasif, what do you understand
Madam,
with time? Yes,
can you hear me? So that I can
yes,
able
yes,
to.
I can hear you.
Okay, okay. the time is about how we need to understand the culture that differently in the group discussion. Maybe we cross
Come again,
culture.
Hasif.
It's about the management of time in the cross culture. Maybe in the group discussion, maybe there are some individual from the different culture, so we need to create a norm for the management of time.
Okay, thank you very much, Hasif. Yes, Vishnu. What do you understand with time under the environmental dimension? Shahira? Shahira, what you understand with the time? Let's say you are analyzing your any video or any scenes. So according to time, how you're going to analyze that according to this element?
Maybe we can mention the time.
What do you mean by mention the time?
The duration.
That one different, Aisha. Sorry, Shahira. That one is regarding what component you have when you discuss each of these element. Time here is by referring to the environmental dimension. It's not relating to the time that I highlighted just now according to the time stamp. That one is different. So these are the things that affect or reflect the non-verbal communication used by the character. So we have space and territory, artifact and object, and time. So this one is not related to timestamp. Yeah? This is the element that affect the character in the scenes. Mama Alif. Now okay, you're lined?
Hello? Yes.
Yes, Mama Alif. What you
Okay.
understand with paralanguage?
Our language is about how but someone talk to each other.
For example,
For example, how what emotion how they express their emotion by talking, such as angry or question something.
okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Shazwana.
Yes, madam.
Shazwana, what you understand with kinesics under the personal dimension?
Kinesthetic is about our body language, our facial expression towards the discussion between the characters.
Okay, so Shazwana, have your group identified the scenes that you're going to use for the analysis?
Not yet, madam.
Okay, thank you, Shazwana.
Thank you, madam.
Celine, what you understand with gaze? Another element, gaze under the personal dimension.
Eyes contact.
Come again, Celine?
Eyes contact.
Eye contact. Other than eye contact? Does eye contact relate to the kinesics, which is body movement? Okay, anyone would like to help Celine, or maybe someone have something to be shared according to personal dimension or environmental dimension? We open the session.
Yeah.
Thank you once again, Celine.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, please go back to your module. For some time you need to read, yeah, because just don't rely to the class discussion or only the slide, because this one is not enough or not complete, all right? You have to read the module so that you can see clearly what we mean by paralanguage, kinesics. Just now we have artifacts, space and territory, and so on, so that you'll be able to relate that with the analysis. Yes, class discussion will still happen, but it's just that I need the participation from all of you. All right, it's just not me who discuss. It's not a discussion if it's only me who talk about that. So we need a discussion, an effective discussion, interactive session between you and me, so that we can discuss each of these elements critically. So when you see that, or when you get an idea on that, you'll be able to relate to your analysis. And I think last week I've mentioned that this week we are going to discuss about chapter 6 relate to the analysis, right? Please go back to the module, chapter 6, yeah? And for your information, your quiz 2, last time we've shared the information about quiz 2. It will be conducted by 25, yeah? You check from the WhatsApp. Same time, which is 5:30 to 6:30, Tuesday. And this chapter will be involved in the quiz, yeah? Chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8. So please, instead of preparing your assessment relate to this chapter, read it also and make a note, yeah? So that prepare you for the quiz too. Okay, so now I'm sharing with you the QR code for today's class. Please scan. And relating to the movie scenes analysis as well as self-reflective essay, if you have any questions, I hope that you can ask via WhatsApp group, so that others also can gain the same information, right? Meaning to say that I don't need to, sometimes I need to repeat the same answer, respond. So maybe if you ask via WhatsApp group, people or others also can gain the same information. Okay, everyone. If you already scanned and if you don't have any question, you may leave the session. It's just that I want to suggest and urge you, persuade you to read the chapter, because it's very important, right? Don't rely to class discussion. It's just to discuss the idea. But most important thing is your understanding of the chapter. So we meet again in the following class. Until then, Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. See you next class, yeah?
Thank you, madam.